Welcome everyone to the hashtag Saturday Support Show. We are live here with, I want to say episode 28, but don't mark me on the episode number. I got to do a recount on that. But we're super excited to have a good friend today on the show. Ma'Taya, if you want to just go ahead and say what's up to the people.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us. We have a very exciting show for us today on the hashtag Saturday Support platform. For those who may not know, Ma'Taya is a multimedia platform where we share, connect, and inspire through storytelling, clothing with a purpose, and intentional relationship building. Our goal is to produce a pure message for our generation and audience by magnifying more love, more light, and more life, because obviously we need more of that in our day-to-day lives. We believe by creating spaces for us to unite and amplify our voices, we ultimately unlock our fullest potential, discover our purpose, and strategically build together. And with that being said, you are tuning in to the hashtag Saturday Support Show, where we reposition the limelight on us, the leaders, creators, activists, entrepreneurs, and many others who are having a positive impact on the world. We're here every Saturday with a live interview style conversation featuring movers and shakers who share their stories, connect with others, and inspire the world. And I'm super excited to share the platform this morning with my good friend, Ma'Taya. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick bio on all that she does, the amazing work that she does, and the amazing person that she is. And then we're going to go ahead and jump into conversation. So with that being said, Ma'Taya is a good friend of mine personally. We go back a few years and just being able to share different spaces together. So I'm super excited to have you on the show. She's a 7th grade intervention specialist and an owner of a private tutoring business titled Taya's Tactics LLC in Columbus, Ohio. Educating, leading, and inspiring is truly in her blood. She gets to wake up every day and feel fulfilled because of living in the passion and pouring in positivity into the youth. And obviously we need more of that every day. And we're super excited to have you. So welcome to the show, and share more about yourself.
Yay. First off, thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. My name is Ma'Taya. So just a little bit about myself. I'm 24 years old. I'm born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. Graduated from Pickerington High School Central alumna. So High School Central alumna. I'm a 2-time degree holder from Cleveland State University, received my bachelor's in sociology and criminology and my master's of education in special education. So I'm in the field right now. As Alicia said, I am a 7th grade intervention specialist. I love working with the special education population. Education is truly my passion. And I'm also a business owner. Like she said, I have a private tutoring business called Taya's Tactics. So yeah, it's a little bit about myself.
I love it. And it's so great to have you this morning. And just some background for the folks tuning in for the Ma'Taya platform and then friends and family of Ma'Taya. We originally met, I want to date back to 2015, maybe.
Yes.
And we met at Cleveland State. We both graduated from Cleveland State University, and we actually shared space as co-workers for the Multicultural Center there on campus. And we had just an amazing experience, which I personally, and I feel like I can speak for both of us, but I'm just going to speak for myself and you can chime in here. I feel like that was a huge pivotal moment for a lot of us in our lives there, to have the equipping, the mentorship, and the environment to experience new things and to be taught and cultivated. And it was really a stepping stone for me personally in my journey that I believe led me to this point in my life. And it's honored to reconnect with others who I shared that space with and who knew me, the Alicia at that time, and really watched me grow. And I can say the same about the ones I stayed connected with, the way that you personally been able to blossom. It's amazing to see kind of where we started and now, how we're continuing to grow in this space. But that was definitely something I wanted to mention, and how we originally connected.
Yeah, I think you put it, you definitely said that perfectly. It was a great experience, and I'll definitely always hold every moment in that office in my heart.
How do you feel like, some of those experiences, especially like in undergrad, pushed you towards education? Obviously being there and being in that like academia world for our own studies, but how did any of that enlighten you for more passion around wanting to be an educator yourself?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to be an educator. I started saying I wanted to be a teacher in elementary school. But when I got in that office, it was cool to be smart. It was cool to be intelligent. And I needed that. I needed that confidence booster. But also, the room was filled with educators, experienced educators through K through higher education in college. So it just gave me that push that I needed. Dr. Pratt, having Miss Colleen, Dr. Golden, Mr. Chavez just pushed me to learn more about the field of education and what I can do and create within the field of academia. I got my bachelor's in sociology and criminology, so that social justice aspect is within me and it has never left. And I get to pair it now with education, and it's just like, okay, this is great. I can create my own title. I don't have to, go after the titles that's already been created. I can do, what's best for me. So the office definitely pushed me to think further, think bigger for what I could do for myself.
Yeah, I would say I feel like there's a selected group of us that either it was experience from that time in our lives when we were getting, going through school, that either put us on a path of self-discovery or shifted the path that we were currently on, to really ignite us and uplift us out of the current situation that we were in. So it's great to just be able to have that commonality and share those experiences with you and the others that we still stay connected with. So obviously, it's not common, and this is just my observation, it's not common to see educators also having their own business, right? So you are kind of disrupting what society says that educators should be and look like. So share a little bit about what Taya's Tactics is all about and how people can get involved with what you have going on with your, I don't even want to say side hustle, because it's I feel like that it doesn't even give justice to what you do, because it's so much of who you are. So just share with the viewers and audience of the #Saturday Support Show what you have going on with your business.
Yeah, of course. So Taya's Tactics is a high quality private tutoring business. We service students in grades 3rd through 12th in math, literacy, and homework help. I service I'm trying to get in the habit of saying we, because we will be broadening our team soon. So we we service the general and the special education population. So I'm not afraid of IEPs. We are not afraid of 504 plans, any of that. I'm in the field working as an active special education teacher is what the term is commonly known as. So I'm not afraid of that. We tutor 3 to 5 clients a month. So to ensure that our services are high quality and to make sure we are providing a high quality education. We work on, like I said, math, literacy, and homework help. So whatever the family believes and whatever their home teacher, their assigned teacher at their school believes that the student could spend extra time working on, that's exactly where Taya's Tactics comes in. We tutor in home, so we come to you. It's mobile service. And that's pretty much the gist of, Taya's Tactics. But like you were saying, not a lot of teachers have a business outside of educating. But I will say within the last maybe 8 years, I've been seeing a lot of teachers creating their own business, especially a lot of teachers of color. And I just want to say for me personally, being a teacher, being in the career, being in the schools, in the community here, that's that service aspect of me. But my social justice side of me, that's the service aspect. But the social justice part of me is my business. I get to influence change through Taya's Tactics, the change that I feel is necessary for myself, for the community, for the teachers, for different teachers in the community, for different students and families. Because I can't, it's not that I can't, but we're limited in what I can do around certain policies in schools in the actual building. But with Taya's Tactics, I'm not limited.
I love it.
So that's how I like to think of my two paths. I have my business and I have my career, my teaching career.
Right. And then how much you're able to learn from being in the classroom per se, and then how you're able to make those adjustments in your business setting to be like, okay, these are the things that I want to be able to represent. And these are the things that our children need to be taught and be trained on, which is sometimes a different approach than the standard, curriculum-based teachings that we see. Are you in the public school system currently?
I'm in a public charter.
Okay. So it's a little different, but also very similar in a sense of what that curriculum base is. So as obviously a woman of color in this space, being a Black woman, how do you see yourself in that representation being essential in the times that we're in, to making sure that our youth are getting and receiving the highest quality of education?
Yeah, it's so essential. When I was growing up, I wish I would have saw some more African American teachers. My grandmother was a teacher, so that was the first African American teacher I came across. But I wasn't assigned to African American teacher until I got to college my freshman year. So I believe I play a huge role in the schools. Every school that I have gone to, I have felt welcome, as if, okay, you're a breath of fresh air. We really need you. But the thing is that when I got there, in those schools, I felt overwhelmed because I do have a purpose. I do have, like I said, I have a purpose. I have things that I need to do within the school. I have policies I need to transform, conversations that need to be had, that needs to come out of my mouth. It's overwhelming sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm tokenistic in a way. I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to help you figure it out. Right. So that's the administration, the policy, political side of it. But when it comes to the students, I absolutely just love it. I love getting out of bed every day and just having more complex and more abstract conversation with middle schoolers, and they ask me what I'm doing there, because I'm not a general education teacher. I'm an intervention specialist. So I pull students and work with students in groups from 2 to 10. So not all students have access to me. It's really the students on my caseload. So when I'm able to be in these environments in the school building where students come up to me, they feel comfortable enough to, kind of use ebonics, but also I remind them we're in school. So speak to me, speak professionally, but get your point across to me. Let's have these open conversations you may not feel comfortable having with your teacher, but now I know what I can bring back to administration and my team. Like, hey, the students feel a disconnect. Let's have a training. Let's create some type of seminar where we can educate ourselves so that there's not a disconnect between the teachers and the students. So I feel like academically, I'm doing a great job, but also socially, that social justice aspect is a big part of my role, because intervention specialists are like advocates, because special education is a law. So we're basically, advocates for that law. But now I just found this new love of speaking up and going back to administration. Like, this is an issue. We need to work around it. How can we do that? So It's been really essential, but
I love that forward. How you're connecting both worlds, because they can't be separated. And I think that, right, it kind of goes back to like politics and religion. Like, you just don't talk about the same two in the same sentence, right? But that's not really our reality. Our reality is that all of these things are mixed and they're intermingled, and we can no longer separate them and put them in departments, because they all work together. And if we can strategically and creatively intersect them more, then that, I believe, not only beneficial for us personally with their own sanity, but the benefit of it for the youth as you go through these different intervention sessions with them. But I feel like, your story, like you said, like, a lot of other teachers or educators having their own businesses. And to your point about, not seeing a Black educator till you got to college, besides your grandmother, I feel like that has led many people of color into education. I know, like, I have a good friend who said the same statement. Like, that's why I knew I had to get into education, because I know that representation is essential. And so, like, now that you're in it from a couple of different aspects, from first being a student into then, graduate school, now you're educating yourself, and then having your own business as well. Are you seeing more representation? And then if so, how is that being received from like the administration standpoint?
Am I seeing more representation inside of the schools?
Yeah.
Black and brown people?
Yep.
Uh, kind of. I'm seeing a lot more Black women go into the field of education, which I like. I really love that. We need it. I would like to see more Black men or
Mhm.
Black and brown men in the buildings. But the issue that I've been noticing when schools get Black and brown people, they don't know how to keep them.
Mhm.
So yes, you're getting in the building, but the work environment isn't conducive to keeping a teacher of color. And also there's just been a lot of parameters of what initiatives Black and brown people can initiate, start in a school, um, different groups. I see a lot of pushback. And I also see things, just lack of representation. It takes a while for some schools to speak up on police brutality and just different social matters that are happening in the community that negatively affect Black and brown people. So that's what I've been noticing. But for the most part, I have been seeing a lot of Black and brown women inside of the schools. I would like to see more Black men, but yeah, I just think there's a lot of issues with policies that is making it hard for schools to keep minorities in the school.
Definitely. And you see that, and you just applying it obviously to the education conversation, but you see that and really in every sector. For one, I don't know if you saw this article come out, but like Cleveland being ranked like the worst city for Black women
Oh,
to work and live ultimately. And that's like a horrible thing to, first of all, even have in existence, but to have that stated the way that it was, and then the publicity that came after, and the conversations that came after that was like, wow. And not just saying Cleveland, but when you look at it per sector, right, and per industry, that specifically Black women have to, persevere, the things that they have to persevere through in these workspaces. It's not just geographically. You can say, education is the work. I would like to kind of see that breakdown too. So yeah, you have a city landscape of being the worst, but how do you rank that from like the industries? And that study is probably out there somewhere. I have to find it.
yeah.
But in that ranking system, it's like it's individuals like you who continue to persevere through, but also find solutions in creative ways like the Taya's tactics, because it's giving you what you're not potentially not getting in the classroom, you're creating in your business, which is like so innovative, and it's such our generation. Like there's so many like us who are creating solution driven innovative strategies to really give us a voice, give us a presence that ultimately we want to get into like that data 5 job. So like when you talk about social justice, like what are some of the things that you're seeing through your business that others may be interested in, that is kind of giving you that fulfillment and that purpose driven passion that you're seeing on a day-to-day from your business hustle?
So I was just discussing this with a friend the other day, and for lack of a better word, I don't want to say it's a trend, but there's a lot of people in society right now who are supporting Black businesses, becoming allies of the Black and brown community. So a lot of people, I've gotten a lot of inquiries just from people all races, and they're messaging me and they're like, I need perspective from a Black educator. I need a perspective from someone who works with both population, special and general. So the social justice aspect that I receive from my business is I get to have a loose relationship. It's still professional, but it's a little bit more loose in a sense that I don't have a school or different administrators over my head with the conversations that I'm having with parents. So my clients are typically like, give it to me raw. Don't give me that politically correct answer. Give it to me raw. They're really like, what am I doing? I'm having a hard time educating my child. They don't want to listen to mom. And I'm like, it's really probably not that they don't want to listen to you. It's more of, did you create a learning environment, or are you just at the table and you're eating and they're working? Let's create an academic environment where high intelligence is valued. We're not working to get the right answer. We're working to move forward. We're working to get our brains working so that we can use these skills in another setting. These need to be transferable. These skills need to be transferable. They need to learn how to think. They need to learn how to think higher than just getting the basic answer. So just the social justice aspect, those relationship building skills that I get to build with the parents. Also, I get to work with different communities, community organizations. So if I have a parent who has a child who is struggling in literacy, but also they're having behavior issues, there's just it's a period in the child's life that they're going through something that the parent is having trouble. They think it's academics that's causing these behaviors. No, your child might need a therapist, and let's have those conversations. Let's talk about a counselor. Let's talk about different free community services that I'm aware of, that I've learned from my school, different people that I know. Let's work on the betterment of your child, instead of you thinking that putting your child in a free tutoring program or just a tutoring program given to somebody else, they're going to come back fixed. No, it starts at home. It starts with the parent, with the relationship, with their educator, with the school, and then bring the student into that. Let them see how this situation will be better for them in the long run. So I get to do that and use my personality. And I just love that, because when you're in a school, there's just a lot of methods, white supremacist methods. And I don't agree with them. And I don't think they're influential to the people in my community, especially African Americans.
Wow. I mean, you could just drop the mic on just that response in that, because it is like so essential, and like creating spaces like this to talk just very direct, and not sugarcoating it, not to hurt anyone's feelings, but these are systematic issues and we have to know that. And also, the education system, and like many other systems, they don't have solutions for the root issues. And when you state the root issues of being at home, the generational traumas, the generational poverty, the generational barriers that we face as in brown and Black communities ourselves growing up, we know that we must address the root. And that's why I love what you're doing with your tutoring service, because you're able to do that from an integrative, holistic approach. When you're talking to parents and they're asking you, it's not like you're coming out and just like, hey, this is what you're doing wrong, you need to do this. They're asking like, give it to me real, because ultimately, I don't believe any parent or any guardian wants to see their child suffering from an education or academic level. Right? They want to see them thrive. They know that they have the potential, they believe in them, but they may be dealing with some of their own traumas that's prohibiting them from moving their own child forward, because they never was able to move forward themselves. So I love these other resources that you're pulling in, and you're creating this like wraparound service approach in your business to making sure that it's not just targeting one aspect of the child's education, but the whole environment. And I love that piece about, are you creating a learning environment? Because I know personally, I've been with my nieces and nephews. I personally don't have any children, but I have a lot of cousins and nieces and nephews, and I've done homework with them, and I see the setting, right? And it's just that fast-paced survival setting that a lot of us, especially communities of color, we grew up in. So it is someone eating at the table. You're probably eating at the table, trying to hurry up and eat dinner, got to go to bed. It's like, but we have to see that for what it is. And that suggestion of creating that learning environment, I love it. So how is that like suggestion taken from parents when you're asking like, okay, well, how is that environment when your child's at home doing classwork or homework?
Well, the beautiful thing, I cannot take credit for all of my clients. I will say a lot of my clients came from Black women who are educators, or my family members, or, just different people who know me. So one, if you're coming to me from the female educators that I believe you're coming from, you already know that she didn't play, and I'm not going to play either. I'm not playing about your education. I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to see change. I'm here to promote growth. You're my success story. Mm-hmm. So if you're coming on the train, you need to make sure you are fully equipped, fully prepared, and really prepared to learn. So I haven't had a client or anybody just flat out not digest well what I'm saying. What any advice that I'm giving to them. If anything, they're like, yes, tell me more, or email me. And I've run into a couple of times where my clients will email their teacher and CC me and say, well, my tutor said, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy you are taking my advice. I'm so happy you are advocating for your child, because that's another piece that I'm passionate about. Stand up to the school, tell them what you need and tell them what you're not getting and tell them what change you would like to see. Advocate for yourself and your child. So I haven't had anyone not digest that advice well. Everyone has taken it in. I have a new client that I've been working with since about the end of May. And I was telling mom, I was like, he needs more structure. So I'm like, he needs to read 30 minutes a day if you even want to see him read more pages a week. So I was like, he needs to read more. I was like, you need to take a step back because he's very independent. He knows how to do the work. I was like, but you're yelling and he doesn't like it. And he told me you don't like it. He doesn't like it. And they're like, okay, I can deal with that. And they tell me, they send me check-ins like he read this day, or they'll send me a recording, because I always tell my students, if your family isn't home, you're by yourself, record yourself on your phone recorder and listen to yourself read. They send me the recordings. So it really goes well. It's really positive. And then honestly, if we're not a good fit, we're not a good fit. It's no shame, no foul. You know what I'm saying? There's other people, resources in the community. There's other tutors who have reached out to me, and I always tell them, if I can't service the family, I'm going to recommend you. So it's been going well. It's been those hard conversations have been going well, and it makes our relationship even stronger. Because the realer I am with them, the realer they're going to be with me. You don't need to lie to me and sugarcoat. If you didn't get to do their flashcards this week, that's fine. I know exactly what I need to do this week. And I know I need to check in with you maybe next Friday to make sure you did those flashcards.
Right. Wow. So like that's strengthening in your own, like just communication skills and relationship building that I believe is so essential, especially in our communities. Like we historically, right, we cover up a lot of things with the rug and things don't come back out, but you're really just creating your own learning environment wherever you go. And there was one thing that actually it was a question I had for like a very long time, maybe like 6-7 years. And the question was, okay, what becomes the alternative for the child because we hear, like you even said it, like it starts at home. But if there's no home, right, what becomes the alternative? And that's a question that I had since I was in high school and all the way probably, so maybe even longer, 10 years. So I had a guest, his name was Walter Patton. You guys can check him out. He was one of our past guests on our show last year. And we were talking about, he does a lot of things with the youth around creating art, not violence. And in the middle of the conversation, I kind of posed the same question. But when I posed it, the answer came to me. And the answer that I was able to see so far is that we're the solution. People like you, people like Walt, people like me, who are advocating for youth, we become the alternative for when there's not a home, right? Because ultimately, things that he was creating or he is creating in the community, it's that alternative home base. So wherever you go, you create that presence around you that is all the things that you embody. And I wanted to just bring that up to you because I feel like there was something I asked for so long, because there was times that my own home wasn't stable. And you always heard, especially when we were in school, like, oh, it starts at home. They had all those campaigns and things. And it was just like, okay, what happens when there is no home exactly? There's nothing that the education, they have like after school programs and things like that. But it's really like people like you and the things that you're doing that creates that alternative and that positive light to be that solution if home is not as stable as it should be or could be at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well said, friend.
That's it. That's all I wanted to chime in on, because I think it's essential to think about that, all that you're doing and the positive light that you're having is that solution driven model. So I'm excited for you to learn even more about your business, and even in talking it through with you. So in that work that you're doing, you talked a little bit about your other passions in that. In education, what drives you and what makes you passionate about the work that you do every day?
There's a lot of passions. So my grandmother was an educator. I told you that. She was a math teacher for almost 30 years, a little over 30 years, I believe. And when I was younger, she always talked to me with logic. She didn't talk to me like a kid. You know what I'm saying? She of course made sure I was still a child, but she was very soft spoken, real stern, but like soft. And she talked to me with logic. She made sure I understood concepts. So when she would do that, I'm like, okay, I understand what she's saying. So I'm like, okay, I can do that for other people. So I had a younger brother, I had younger cousins, and I'm trying to talk things through. This is how you do. But then I also have other people in my family who are the complete opposite, yellers
Mm-hmm.
per se, loud talkers. So then I'm like, okay, well, I can see that that's not what all children need. We need some soft spokenness. But then so that was one thing. The way my grandmother communicated, I was like, I want to communicate like that to other people. But when I was younger, I would always play school with my siblings. I have a lot of siblings. I was always the teacher. I was also always lesson planning, telling them to be quiet, zip it up. And then I knew for sure that I really wanted to dress cute at work. I know this sounds like the shallow things, but these all came in. These are like all factors in what drove me to be an educator. I needed to dress cute. I needed to be able to express myself through my clothes. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. Drive me to education. I didn't have a Black teacher, like I told you, until I got to college. That's unacceptable. That's not okay. It's not okay. I did have an assistant principal. Her name was Dr. Gibbs. She was a Black woman, and she dressed so fly every day. And I was like, I need to do this.
Yes.
This is me.
I love it.
And then also, like I said, just honing in on that fact that I needed a Black teacher. I needed a Black female teacher from K through 12. I needed her, or I needed a Black man. I needed someone to tell me, I see you. I see your intelligence. Yes. You are allowed to be intelligent. It's cool to be intelligent. Don't care what anybody else says. I needed that because I always heard education is for white people. You talk like a white girl. You're an Oreo. And it's just like, we need to get that stigma out of here, because it would hurt my heart to hear one of my students saying that. And that will be the reason why they're not showing the best version of themselves. That would hurt my heart, because I went through that, and it's not fun. You really have to go through your career, go through life, and really just realize those cuts, and just like, put some Neosporin on them, put a bandage on them, let them heal. And so now I'm like, I want to prevent those cuts for young girls and young boys. So those are the things that really push me, being an educator. I love it. I just love education so much. I love learning new things, and I love advocating, and I love promoting change.
Yes. And like, just knowing you personally, like we laugh about it, but like the fashion, and I feel like that statement is also a part of being able to express your Blackness wherever you are. And yes, as simple as it may sound, right? Being able to be Black in your skin and be who you are, it's like, it's not always the case. And now that, this the white supremacy talk and all these things are being at like a national and global platform, it's like we can have these type of conversations where we used to say, I'm in these positions and I'm able to be me. And that really can um, not being able to do that can really put us in a different path. And so being able to create and be creative in your space and be you, ultimately, I believe is part of the reason why you're able to produce at the highest level that you're producing at and having the impact is because you're being your true authentic self. And as you heal those wounds, it's also when those things heal, you're seeing, oh, well, I didn't know this about me, because that's something that was hurt a long time ago, and that's something that was hidden a long time ago. So as we do like this self-discovery path that we're on, which I think is a lifelong journey,
Yeah.
you find these newness about yourself that for so long, and this can even be generational things that so long was hidden, that now you're able to embrace. And then as you embrace it, if you choose to express it, you can. And I just applaud you for being bold. I know that it's taking a lot of equipping and a lot of pain and those things to get us to a place that we can be bold. We can have our own platforms and we can have a voice, and be able to share our stories in these spaces, because it is essential for us to do that as we move forward in time and as we push. I don't even like to say push the ceiling, because I think we put those barriers there, but ultimately going past the ceiling, because the quote Biggie is that sky is the limit. It's beyond that as well. So I personally applaud you, just knowing who you are and knowing how important it is for you to be able to express yourself in your setting, because ultimately you're teaching that. So how can you not be able to practice what you teach in that space? So thank you for doing that. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And I wanted to bring this point up too before we wrap up. We both share a mentor in common, Dr. Golden, who, shout out to you, Dr. Golden, you're an amazing woman. But one thing she stated early on this year was about the impact of the pandemic and COVID-19 in the education sector. And she said specifically for Brown and Black students that this restriction on being in person in the whole way, and things move virtually, and the education system as a whole during the pandemic was set the youth back at least 10 years. So, that's her statement. That's her observation. She's obviously within different sectors of the education. She's been there for a very, very long time. I wanted to get your opinion and your take on that statement and how you're seeing the impact, you went through it. Now we're kind of seeing the post impact on a very, minimal level. How are you seeing that? And what's your views on just kind of that overall statement specifically for the folks that you teach and obviously our communities of color?
Right. I could definitely believe it. I don't know the research, so I can't say 10 years, but I would definitely believe this past year was a major setback on my minority communities, because especially in urban environments, high poverty areas, because if you think about it, they come to school to get 3 meals possibly, 2 meals and a snack, or they come to school to get out of those environments that are not conducive for a child's life. Mm-hmm. Unsafe environments, school is a getaway. So to have to learn in that environment, consistently for over a year, I think it set a lot of students back. A lot of students don't have the resources at home to, the parents might be working 40 plus hours, nighttime shift, they're tired. They don't have the resources at home to, make sure they're receiving a high quality education and letting them know that academic achievement is obtainable. It's something that you should be working towards, right? And so I think it's going to set us back, but also I think it opened the eyes to a lot of parents in the community to not depend solely on the school to teach our children. Mm-hmm. You can teach your children basic skills and whatever, like historical events you want them to know. But and it also showed schools and different states that we need to have highly qualified teachers in the building teaching our students, teachers who can adapt, because being in person, that's the job, but you need to make sure you're putting the same effort on this computer too. But I mean, we have to remember that the teachers went through a pandemic too.
Right.
So, we weren't just living our best lives. So I think it set us back, but I think it on the same note, a lot of people are opening their eyes, like, okay, I need to make a change. And some people have decided to stay stagnant, but I'm hoping that with time and with evolution that they will, try to move forward.
Right. And I appreciate your openness to share kind of your intake on it, because it is important to talk about. But why I love you so much, and for all of our viewers listening and tuning into the show, you also provided some solution-based approaches. So yes, ideally it is a setback, but these are the different techniques that we can apply. And obviously I know you're going to leverage the things that we're currently in for your business as well, and making sure that just because this is what we've experienced doesn't have to dictate how we move forward in the future and how we move forward currently. So I appreciate you just jumping on it and sharing some of that as well. So what can folks expect from you personally, professionally, for the remaining of the year 2021, and even going into, I can't believe we're saying it, but 2022? What can folks expect from you, Taya Tactics, and all the marvelous work that you're doing?
So from Taya's Tactics, you can expect a new website coming soon. I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited for that. So that will be coming September 15th. Starting October 1st, I will be implementing my new tutoring system where I will only be accepting 3 to 5 clients a month. I think that we're going to grow a lot when we see this change implemented. Personally, you could definitely just catch me at the gym, catch me at work. You can catch me with my best friends and my family, or in another city and a different country. I'm going to another country for the first time in 2022, so I'm excited. I'll be continuing to go to therapy, everybody, even if it's just for a monthly check-in. I'll be at therapy personally and reading my books. I have gathered some friends and a community where they really like to read. And as a child, I really love to read, but then my mom forced me to read. I'm like, no, Mom, this is not it. Then I went to college for 6 years. I was like, you think I'm going to read leisurely? Absolutely not. So I've gotten back into the habit of reading. So that's pretty much what you can expect from me. Just living my best life, doing whatever makes me happy.
Yes, Queen. Yes. I love it. I love it. And for those of you, we just want to thank you for tuning in. If you are viewing live, you can see comments. I've dropped the Taya Tactics tutoring website on the comments, and also the Facebook link. So make sure you guys check it out. We just want to make sure, for those who are tuning in to the show, Ma'Taya is about a pure message for our generation. You can see a lot of our content is about positive message because of the narrative that we see so much, especially in brown and Black impoverished urban areas. We know that is this very negative connotation that there's not any good happening. So Ma'Taya were really designed to spotlight and showcase what is happening that's positive. And it's about that pure message. So I want to make sure we give you an opportunity, Ma'Taya, to talk about your pure message that you want to leave with the viewers of Ma'Taya and all of your friends and family that's tuning into this episode.
Okay, yeah, my pure message, my life mantra is be you. I have it tattooed right here. Just be your authentic self. There are so many different personalities in the world, but there's only one version of yourself. That's the only personality that you can ace and master well. So just be you, do you, and don't worry about anybody else. Drink your water, mind your business, and be you.
That's it. I appreciate it. Any last comments that you want to share before we wrap up this morning / early afternoon?
Yeah, just to Alicia, continue to do what you do it well. I have had several people come to me telling me that you inspired them to start their business, get their LLC. So I'm really just so proud of you, girl. Keep going. And also thank you to all my friends and family who joined the live today.
We appreciate you guys. And I want to say thank you to you, Ma'Taya. It's been an honor to share, whatever 45 minutes to an hour conversation, because I believe this platform is important for women like us and other men as well who are having that positive impact. But for me personally, it's always dear to my heart when I'm able to share this space with someone who I care about genuinely and I've grown with as a friend. So to share this with you and the work that you're doing to reposition that limelight on you and that impact, it means the world to me. So I want to say thank you for that. And thank you for the work that you do on a day-to-day basis, because I believe especially Black women, brown women, women of color, should be applauded, it should be honored, and should be represented more. So as much as I can do in my space with the Ma'Taya and other projects I'm working on, it's a blessing to call you my friend and also call you my sister in this work, because we are doing it, and we're going to continue to uplift and amplify that pure message which you stated on a daily basis. So thank you for joining us.
Yes,
And
you're welcome. Thank you.
I appreciate everyone who's joining us live on the hashtag Saturday Support Show. We thank you for your time and your questions and comments. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop those in the comment box. Reach out to Ma'Taya. Ma'Taya, you want to go ahead and drop your holders for them so they can contact you?
Yes, my Instagram is Taya's Tactics. So TAYAS TACTICS. Facebook is the same thing, Taya's Tactics.
Awesome. Make sure you guys stay connected with her and all that she has going on. And if you know anyone who's having a positive impact, feel free to drop their names or message me, DM me, email me, maslare.com. You can view all of our episodes, and you can also learn more about our blogs and other things that we have going on. Hit that subscribe button while you're there, and let's continue to light up the world with our pure message. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hashtag Saturday Support.